Carter, the Power Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Blake, college football playoff semifinal week. I tuned in a little bit earlier on the Ruffino and Joe show. How are you feeling? I mean, are we excited for semifinal week? Do you think these matchups could be blowouts?
High take. Will Howard is not remotely close to Joe Burrow. They're not in the same stratosphere, right? You would agree with that. They're not as a quarterback. They're not.
Yeah.
I don't give two Rudy Poos. Here's from talent v. talent standpoint. The last time that I saw something like this of what they could do was last year with Malik and BTJ and Justin and Jets. Brother, they got freaks. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of comparisons to LSU 2019 to a lot of teams. At wide receiver, not quarterback. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
They don't have the Jane Daniels. They don't have the Joe Burrows. It's a massive, massive difference. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. They got wide receivers just like you do, and that's a fact.
Yeah, I don't think it's far-fetched to think that
I know it ain't.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if you remove all LSU bias, I mean, Jeremiah Smith is probably
it's like having Julio.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar. And look, I'm with you, but for some reason, I just think Texas is going to come out and play their best game. And I don't think we've seen the best of Texas. Maybe we've seen the absolute maximum of Ohio State. So I don't know why, Blake. Everything just points to Ohio State being
and that's when you know that college football historically makes you look like a dumbass and the other team wins.
Yes. So for some reason, I'm believing Texas. Number one, are
you going to take Texas to win?
Well, this is the best secondary that Ohio State has played in a while.
Name a team that can throw the football the way that Ohio State can that Texas is seeing.
Nobody. That's what concerns me.
Clemson.
Well,
their secondary is at the boundary is not that good. It's actually, quite honestly, it's pretty ass. Now, Barron's good. He's got 5 picks on the year, but Barron will go in the slot and do different things. He'll be moved back to safety in certain situations. Makuba is the best safety in the SEC this year in reference to play. He had one target, Arizona State. He picked the ball off.
To win the game. And then I will say the Taff, his decision to face mask Scatabo was so brilliant. It was so smart.
I know it was.
Yeah, that's the only way you're bringing that dude down in that spot. That's what I'm talking about, the touchdown saver. That's what I needed, LSU, baby.
Well, even then, he was the only thing he could grab. He got to it, and he's like, so what? I get the penalty, but he's going to score if I don't get to him.
That was so brilliant. I was like, wow, love it.
But that's what Taff, okay, I would take him at LSU any single day of the week. That is what you're missing from this LSU team.
Yeah, and look, it makes sense. His name's Taff.
I see the pun there.
Okay, good. I was hoping you. I knew you would catch. I've been doing these.
I see the pun there. But Carter, think about this. The guy historically is going to be their third safety in the game. They'll use him in certain situations. Okay, definitely will be out there a lot. I'm not saying that he won't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Brother, I'm sorry that LSU has not gotten that. So I just wanted to throw that in there. In reference to the playoffs, I'm taking Penn State and Ohio State to play in the national title.
Oh, God. And we would hear that until the end of time. The Big Ten is the best conference alive.
It was the best conference this year. It's the best conference. You got to take it on the chin. Because you went
the best conference this year.
I mean,
Blake, Frederick,
Carter. The SEC is 1-6 against the Big Ten this year. LSU lost to USC.
Okay. Yeah.
So what they can say is their argument will be, well, shit, your 6th best team got beat by our 10th best team.
Look, I think it's close. I do think the SEC, and you know, I have power SEC. I'm not just SEC homer, right? I can see that though. I think it's close. I think Illinois beating South Carolina was a pretty big statement.
It's the Miami and Bama. I mean, it's the Michigan Bama game. That's the one that gets everybody.
Right. So yeah, you might be right. You might be turning my opinion on it. But yeah, I mean,
Texas's win over Michigan is the only SEC win that they got over the Big Ten this year.
Crazy. So you're probably right. Big Ten was probably better than
I mean, everybody's talking about like Ole Miss and Bama, and Illinois was 9-3.
So, what about Notre Dame? Notre Dame, Penn State. Are you giving Notre Dame any chance?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-point game.
Okay,
it's a coin flip for me, to be honest with you.
I'm cheering for Notre Dame. I'm cheering for destroy me all you want. I'm cheering for Notre Dame over Penn State.
Oh, right. Okay, well, you're going to get killed by LSU people because
and that's fine. Thing. That's fine because
why are you cheering for them to get there?
Because Mike Denbrock is a big piece of why LSU's been good over the past couple of seasons, and I'm rooting for him. So I understand you shouldn't because he left to go with the other school or whatever, but I understand a Midwestern guy wanting to go back to the Midwest. So why not? I'll pull for Riley Leonard. Well, a lot of my family lives in Fairhope, Alabama, where he's from, not the biggest city. So let's go. Let's go.
They've scored 14 points in the red zone the last 2 games. Their defense is what's blocking everything down. I'm just going to tell you, they run up against the right dude. Carter, nobody they've played offense has been prolific. Nobody's.
So Tyler Warren goes full Gronk.
He can.
Well, let me ask you this.
I saw Tyler Warren catch 16 passes against USC.
Let me ask you this. Are you part of the camp that thinks Tyler Warren could be Bowers in the NFL?
Yeah. I'm pretty much.
Come on, Blake.
Yeah.
Blake, your SEC card is about to get destroyed, man. You said
your LSU card's been destroyed for over 6 months.
Yeah. For what? For
all the slander that you've been throwing upon me.
You really so you think Tyler Warren could be as good as Brock Bowers?
No, I don't think he's as good. You're asking me if he can have the same level of impact in a game. Yeah,
he's definitely.
I literally saw him. Carter, you do realize he was the leading rusher against Ohio State. They put him in the Wildcat, and he ran for 41 yards.
That's crazy.
He took a jet sweep against Ohio State. He ran for 28 yards. He outran that secondary. He stiff-armed Caleb Downs going down the sideline, making him look like a rag doll.
I do think he's good. I do
think he's that good. Brother, that dude can play. Listen, I'm not saying this. I hate to say it like this, but take Ryan Clark and Jordan Clark's Louisiana LSU ties out of it. Let's go player v. player. They will line Jordan Clark up on him. It will be a bloodbath. Oh. It will be a bloodbath. You better bracket him in multiple different ways. It's the only way you can contain that kid. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I just say this because Brock Bowers is like one of the best football players I've ever seen, period. Any position. So,
Carter, he had more targets for a tight end in tight end history. And you still had Gronk and Jimmy Graham. He got more targets than any of them in a season.
Do you think Drew Allard should come back? I mean, he could be the number one.
I do. I think he will come back. That's why Prabula left and went to Mizzou. I do think that, look, Penn State, for what it's worth, their offense has been ass cheeks the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So do you agree with me that the Boise result was a little misleading? You think that game was a little bit
Oh,
closer?
100.
Yeah.
But here's what I know about Penn State. You know who Penn State is? They're the SEC's Texas.
Okay, keep going.
They play up and down to the level of their opponent.
I agree. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I mean, it's happened all year. Look, I love LOVE capital. Not more than Joy Taylor, but I love.
Oh, God. That's my peanut butter skin sister right there.
God.
You don't come after Joy Taylor.
Here we go.
You don't come after you don't.
Jason Whitlock. Hey, I mean, Jason Whitlock's got a point. He's got a point. Everybody's thinking it. I do you see the Cowherd thing about? Yeah, this my titty. I mean city.
Oh yeah. I've seen the photo.
That's my titty.
Joy Taylor is I met her in for SEC championship game. She awesome person. Joy Taylor, friend of PHN.
Do you need something that you got to tell us?
No, this is not an admission of anything. I'm just saying her nephew is one of the best tight ends in the history of
Van
football.
Lathan, paging Van Lathan. I need a 2-hour podcast with Van Lathan and Carter Bryant to find out the scandalous news about Joy Taylor. I'm reaching out to Van tonight.
Do it. I will say I know nothing about this.
You're a lie.
I know nothing. I really don't. That was my only my photo with her when I posted on P. Everyone just freaking loves her. And guess what? I'm a big Mason Taylor fan, and
she slept around. Who cares? Bro, she slept around, and Skip tried to pay that girl $1.5 million to sleep with him, and she didn't do it.
Crazy. Why would he? All the other stuff that's alleged that he told her was just insane. But
I'm married to someone who's in their business. They know everybody's deep, dark secrets. You don't mess with hairdressers.
You don't.
They will bury you. If you want intel on your biggest enemy, they're going to have it for you.
Yeah, my sister-in-law is a big time.
They know all the gossip. You hear me?
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. Look, dude, we're 25 minutes into this. We hadn't even talked about LSU football yet. But listen,
I didn't know I was on here to talk LSU football.
Okay. I do have like 3 big questions for you. We'll get to it. In reference to Joy Taylor, all I'm going to say is this. I like Joy Taylor. I'm not mad about you're talking about in-house sleeping. So what? Like, what is this girl really filing a lawsuit for? I mean, you're filing for workplace harassment. Okay, well, that's on Skip. It is what it is. Why'd she have to take down Joy Taylor with her? What I think she's trying to show is how crazy the place was, so it helps her case. She just exposed everybody. She went on a warpath. That's how when I read all of that, I read a woman that felt scorned. Like, I mean, she took the whole ship down with her. Brother, she took the mothership down.
Yeah, I mean, look.
And it don't matter. The streets are always going to think this about Joy. No matter what happens.
And I hate that for her. Because I will say, I've not spent any more than one night hanging out in her vicinity. She was an awesome individual. I think she's a great broadcaster. But I mean, it's freaking insane. Like, literally, this is crazy. But I'll also say this, Blake. This is pretty rampant in television, even at the local level. And you will hear the absolute craziest stories because even more so at the local level, some of the stuff that you hear because, I have a broadcast journalism local degree. And
what would you do if people started reporting stuff on the media? Meaning
they do that now.
Well, not I'm talking about like at the local level. Like, for example, sources. Blake Ruffino has deep ties that he might be getting more sponsorships coming up in the near future. Like, what if that happens? People are going to be coming out the woodwork asking for money. I ain't got shit for you. I'm paying the traditions more than I'm paying my mortgage. You know what I mean? By the way, I did get it. I did, by tradition, send out a gift to people today. Most should have received it in the mail. I'm just going to say this. Things are rolling a little bit that people don't realize at this exact moment. I think the LSU fans should give themselves a pat on the back here. Speaking of that, thoughts on the Baylor game? It's so far out since you and I talked last about it. We can. Here's the truth. You gave up 444 passing yards.
And it should have been more. I mean, he missed
a lot of things open. Carter, you have a problem. The question now becomes, does Mansour Delane give you anything? Can DJ Pickett come in here? You're going after safeties in the portal. Carter, I got to be quite honest with you. You're hoping on a lot of things right now. I know you were 46th in the country in passing yards allowed. I get that. Brother, you're in trouble right now. That it's your biggest weakness. I have a massive concern around it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's really bad. And honestly, Blake, and I'm not trying to sound alarmist, you do feel better about your defense coordinator helping you out with this compared to your defensive coaching the past few coordinators. But it's a big problem. And the secondary could be in a worse spot than it's been during some of those Orgeron defenses that were really bad on the back end. At least there was a reason, right? They played man coverage on every snap, right? You know, they were actually trying.
When they changed things up, they went from like 108 to like 50.
Right. They were good.
Still so stupid.
Blake, the corner play regressed really badly towards the end of the season.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, it's really tough because Ashton Stamps had some brutal outings, and he wasn't like this at the beginning of the season. It just got to the point where he lacked so much confidence that nothing was really going right. You know, the dropped interception, I was like, man, that's an amazing play. This would be great for his confidence. And then I was like, oh, he actually did drop that. It's crazy, right? So, man, you got to evaluate every last little thing. But obviously, give the coaching staff a lot of credit. They bring in Delane, they bring in DJ Pickett. But like it's a problem. I mean, that is not a good quarterback, Sawyer Robertson. I mean, he's decent. He sounds like, you know, the long lost brother of Duck Dynasty, but he's not anything spectacular, and you let them just absolutely destroy you
on 4 routes.
Yeah, that's another thing. It wasn't really complex.
No, it wasn't. All. It was fade, back shoulder fade, screen, bubble screen, slant hitch. And that was, I went back and watched it today. My wife literally calls me a psychopath. During the broadcast, I forget who called it, whatever. They were like, there goes another slant. There goes another slant. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, ironic. It was Emmanuel Ako's brother on the call.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, it was a callback for you. But, yeah, it's
Sam Acho. He should be taking a victory lap. He ain't got it. I mean, ain't nobody getting on to him about nothing.
Right. But it's a problem, Blake. It really is. And you, as an LSU fan, should be worried. And it's still crazy that you've had all these years of not great defensive back play. I mean, there's just so much pressure on
just safety play the last 2 years has been, or 3 years have been so bad.
Yeah, it's
since Jay Ward walked out that building.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It honestly is very, very, very frustrating. And hopefully there's a guy or two that takes that next step, but it's just not good. It's not good at all. And also, you're not going to have Braden Swinson. You know, I like Patrick Payton. I like all the ends that they brought in. I really, really, really do. So good pass rush will help. But Swinson was just unfreaking believable. So it's going to be hard on the secondary. It really is.
I mean, listen, it would keep me up at night.
Oh yeah, I mean, trust me, it was tough. I mean, I had a New Year's Eve event, and I was like, before I went up, I was like, oh my god, like 440 yards. It's insane. I was like, wait, hold on, I don't think freaking Jalen Hurts was a quarterback. I don't think freaking Tua was a quarterback. No, it was Sawyer Robertson. I would expect him to be a Kappa Sig instead of a quarterback at freaking Baylor. But he tore us up. And I want to show some love for praying for Whit Weeks after his ankle got shattered.
Yeah, I saw it.
Really good photo.
It was actually his leg.
His leg, whatever.
Which is arguably, even though it was immediate, he had to get surgery, all that stuff, it's one of the better scenarios that maybe could have happened. Because bones will heal, right? Like, I mean, it's not going to – the likelihood of him breaking in that bone again is very, very low. Like, brother, they go in there and they put a steel plate in your leg sometimes.
Yeah, and
so, I mean, like, this dude could be bro, I would be – if I'm Whit Weeks, I'm going up there and kicking people with that leg. With a steel rod in it?
Let's go. Just right at the shins. Let's go.
I mean, if you're an MMA fan, you'll know that that's probably not – something you should do. What do you make of this team's complete overhaul? Carter, the way that I look at it, you could potentially have 15 to 17 new starters on this team. You got some big key guys back and things that you think, and then you add pieces in the portal, and you're like, well, if you get this from this guy, you could be pretty good. It's a massive overhaul, though. It's, I mean, like it regardless if it's portal, high school kids, it doesn't matter. Massive overhaul. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I give Brian Kelly a lot of credit because, this weekend I did a deep dive on it was mixed with data and film. Like this was one of the least talented LSU teams that we've had. And that's not only, for us, but relative to expectation, right? I go back to that Florida roster that we put out there. It's just unacceptable. College football is an old man's game. You got to bring in guys that have experience. And now with this JUCO ruling, we don't know how much it's going to change. I mean, look, there's a whole, and not every 18-year-old is Jeremiah Smith. I mean, these are big, fast dudes, and we're playing a lot of young guys that just weren't ready for it. It's not that they're bad. It's just not what is needed. So Brian Kelly said, look, we're going to bring in a bunch of year 4, year 5 guys that have been through strength and conditioning programs and have actual Power 4 film. And it's going to make LSU a lot better. So, yeah, I mean, look, a lot of this was our best players carrying us this year. And while you do lose Mason Taylor, you do lose, obviously, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, and those guys. I just think with all the transfers you brought in, the floor of this team is going to be so much higher. And I think for me, offensively, Blake, it was very exciting to see Trey'Dez Green lay a few blocks. It was very exciting to see him become a little bit more of an alpha. You could just see his confidence was through the roof in this game. And if he could be a decent blocker, and you take a look at some of these, transfer portal tight ends that LSU is still interested in, to go along with Bauer Sharp, this could be a very interesting strength for this team next year. So I'm really excited to see where this offense is going to go.
I said the same. I mean, you don't have a tight end coach at the current moment. Maybe they know where they're going, whatever. So we'll see. They have a high ceiling at tight end, but I would say this. I still think that there could be a low floor because Donovan Green's been unproductive. What does Trey'Dez Green do or Bauer Sharp do at the end line of scrimmage when they're needed to block? I don't know. High ceiling, high ceiling. I agree with you. Well, at least with tight end.
Yeah.
Thoughts on LSU's last thing here, and I'll throw Perkins into this. Thoughts on LSU's front seven, bringing, and I include Perk in that at star. Okay. Interesting front seven.
Yeah, I mean, look, Devon Keys had a good bowl game. He's grown on me. Obviously, we'll see what the health of Whit Weeks looks like. it is exciting that, Wes Weeks is running it back. But Blake, you feel a lot better about this defensive tackle room. There's a lot of bodies in here. And one very strong theory that I believe in is part of LSU's offensive line issues was a lot of the defensive linemen they went up against in practice last year weren't really that good. So now that you have more DTs that you can actually practice against that are good, it's going to make you better for when actual SEC play comes around. So I'm a lot more excited about this defensive tackle room going in to next year. And obviously, I'm sweating losing Braden Swinson. I mean, he was truly spectacular. I mean, that UCLA game was a lot closer than we probably remember, and a big disruptor of UCLA's momentum offensively in that first half was Braden Swinson just doing Arden Key type of things. So, yeah, I do like the defensive end grouping. I think that's by far the strongest position they've brought in this portal cycle. And Blake, it excites me that Kevin Peoples is on the staff. He had a very big role for the success that our defense did have in part of the season. So really excited about that.
Boy, and they generated no pass rush on Baylor either.
They didn't. And that's why I was like, maybe they ran out of gas because they played so many snaps. But Baylor's pass protection was really good. But that was something that was alarming. But, those guys are now gone. And I wish Savian and obviously Braden a lot of credit. And Blake, I want to give you a lot of credit before I go here. Today was actually the first day I went on a fast. I did one of your fasts. So I ate dinner last night at 8:15, and I'm about to eat dinner. I made it a full 24 hours on just water and black coffee.
My man.
Look at you. I'm trying to get
by March 13th, I want to have an announcement that goes out on this weight loss journey your boy's been on.
Let's go, dude. Okay, but did you cheat at the New Year's Eve wedding?
Oh, 100. No. I ate at the wedding. I did cheat in the reference to, like, there was some brisket, but it had barbecue sauce on it. That was my cheat. I had 2 or 3 glasses of bourbon, maybe.
So you don't drink alcohol at all anymore?
No, not like that.
What?
Yeah, no alcohol.
Really?
Yeah, I've been drinking alcohol. No alcohol. Didn't do one post game with alcohol in my system. There are other things that I may have been doing, but
yeah, yeah.
I know. I just mean, like, that people, gummies can be a thing and green substances can be a thing. I'm just saying.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. No. By March 13th, I want to have this completed. Feel pretty good. Feel confident.
Hey, y'all want to know what it is? I'm gonna reveal it right now. You're trying to look like me. That's it. You're trying to get this peanut butter skin. You're trying to get this peanut butter skin. You're trying to look great. Like
I
us.
don't mind. I mean, my wife's dark complected.
Yeah, man, beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. And Blake, Happy New Year. And I'm excited for LSU baseball.
I am too.
And I can't wait for all your coverage with that, man. Let's go.
Yeah, baseball around the corner. Thank you much, Carter. We'll see you soon.